How can the practitioner get a better handle on their client's identity as it pertains to the desistance process? What can be done to assess where a justice-involved individual is at as to their crime trajectory? Where do you, the practitioner, turn when looking to turn theory into practice? Keep watching to find out the answer to these questions and more. I'm Joseph Arvidsson, Executive Director of the Paragon Group and host of both the Criminologist podcast and the Criminologist YouTube channel. Now, in this episode, we're going to build on some of the themes previously established in our previous episodes in this series on desistance from crime. We've given you an overview as to desistance theory, talked about the critical role that identity plays in the desistance process, and given some context as to those pathways into and those pathways out of crime. In this episode, we're going to drill down a bit to take a look at what the practitioner can do to really put into play some of the knowledge that you've hopefully picked up along the way in this series. That is, how can this information be translated into case management decisions? In our last episode, we talked about how the pathways into crime are assessed and treated by means of the well-established risk-need responsivity model. The knowledge base of the R&R model springs from the work of James Bonta and Don Andrews and their text, The Psychology of Criminal Conduct. And at this point, there are a variety of assessments which have been developed to assess and case plan around those by now well-established criminogenic variables. One widely used assessment tool is the LSCMI, or Level of Service Case Management Inventory. This is a fourth-generation tool which includes not just a well-established assessment section, but a case management tool portion as well. As a master trainer of the LSCMI, I can assist your agency in building capacity by providing not merely the initial user training for your staff, but also by training staff to become trainers themselves. Please reach out for details. On the flip side, though, we are also aware of those pathways out of crime, and we're starting to see some progress on this front as well. Dr. Ralph Sarin and his team have actually developed an assessment tool to take a closer look at correlates to desistance from crime. His tool is known as the DRAOR. DRAOR stands for Dynamic Risk Assessment for Offender Reentry. The DRAOR is a scale which looks at indicators broken down into 3 subscales. Those subscales are that of acute, stable, and protective factors. Stable factors, as the name implies, are variables that are slow to change over time for the client. These are things such as peer associations, impulsivity, and problem-solving deficits. Here, we're really talking about the root of behaviors. Yes, those are things you'll also see in a criminogenic scale. In fact, they can be thought of as those top-tier criminogenic variables. Acute factors are quicker to change, and because of this, when there is a noted change, action needs to be taken. These are the types of things that can change between office visits. Things such as the client getting fired from their job, breaking up with their significant other, or relapsing. If you're assessing annually, those things may not get noted and certainly may not warrant attention via the case planning process. This is one of the many upsides of the DRAOR. Finally, our third category or subscale is that of protective factors. These are dynamic variables made up of both the external strengths and internal assets of our clients. Think of protective items as those things in our clients' lives which shield them against risk. And you guessed it, having a prosocial identity is one of the items measured here. And recall in our last episode, we talked about pathways out of crime. Well, protective factors are the things in the lives of justice-involved individuals that support change and help them down the pathway towards desistance. If you wish to learn more as to the DRAOR assessment and case management tool, you can reach me via the Paragon Group, LLC.com, or email me directly at thecriminologistpodcast@gmail.com. We offer training and support as to both the DRAOR and the Level of Service Case Management Inventory. This is part of an ongoing series on the topic of desistance from crime. If you are intrigued and want to learn more, please check out our podcast, The Criminologist. In that podcast, I supervise a caseload of fictitious felons, helping them all discover their own pathways towards desistance. The Criminologist podcast is available on all of your quality podcast platforms. And be sure to subscribe to this channel as well. And thanks for watching.